What up guys, Dukesloth here, and this is a patch notes review for patch 3.6, Escape from the Underworld. We're starting with Jing Wei. Jesus Christ, that's a big deal. Okay, let's just first take a look at the card real quick. Really nice, I like it, I like the model in general. Cool style. Now let's talk about her 4 ultimates, or however many you want to consider that. Passive. I'm just going to read that out. Rapid Reincarnation. When exiting from the fountain, Jing Wei prepares for takeoff and then ascends into the sky, allowing her to fly over obstacles at an increased speed. Duration 5 seconds. This may not sound like much, but she actually flies up all the way into the sky. Probably the same height as Apollo. And she flies extremely fast, and these 5 seconds are probably enough to get to your tower in Conquest. You can fly all the way across the arena map. It is basically a free Apollo ult without the damage. That's just the passive. That is just the passive. We're getting into this, boys and girls. Okay, moving on. Persistent Gust. Jing Wei creates a gust of wind that deals up to 290 damage plus a 90% scaling. 90% scaling, exclamation mark. Damage, and knocks up enemies when summoned. The gust persists for 6 seconds and continues to knock up and deal additional damage. This is 50 plus 5% scaling to enemies every 1 second. So let's assume somebody would actually stay there the whole time for whatever stupid reason. That would be an additional 300 damage with another 30% scaling, which is very unlikely to ever happen. Just saying, in theory, that's how much it would be. If Jing Wei walks onto the area, she is knocked up and gains an attack speed buff for 5 seconds. This attack speed buff is not scaling or anything, it's flat 25%. Cooldown 14 seconds. I don't even know if I need to explain how good this is. So this ability has a shot delay like the Chronos 1, but it doesn't seem to be too hard to hit. It basically has the same effect as Hellboy 3, knocking up the enemy, dealing a lot of damage. A lot of damage. But it also knocks up enemies if they walk through there again, so it's an effective zoning tool. You cannot walk into the area where that thing is. You just can't. Otherwise you're going to get knocked up again and take damage again. Also, it knocks her up. I think it can work as a leap in like, for example, put it on the edge of an Odin ult, and I think you can actually get knocked outside of the ring. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. It also is a steroid. And what do many hunters lack? What makes many hunters not as good as they could be? The lack of a steroid. So there's that. This is her first steroid, her first semi-escape, first damaging ability. Second ability. Explosive bolts. Jing Wei loads her crossbow with explosive bolts that augment her next 3 basic attacks. These attacks are wider, have increased critical chance, and deal area of effect damage. Cooldown 16 seconds, up to 25% crit chance. That's a lot. That's more than Malice or Deathbringer alone will bring you at max rank. So what have we got here? Another steroid that allows you to basically have AoE attacks, basically a free golden bow. I'm not quite sure how it interacts if you buy a golden bow, but I'm pretty sure it works pretty well. And given that golden bow or throwing dagger is now a good starter item, it will probably work really, really well on her and give her basically instant clear. And an insane critical chance in an ability, in a steroid. So she basically has 2 steroids at this point. And this is not all. We're not done. And this is already scary enough because these ability, like the attacks from this ability basically work as if you're like shooting at 3 targets at once if they're next to each other. If they're clustered up, if you ever get anyone grouped together, they're basically taking the same damage. They can both be crit by every shot, and so on and so on. Ability 3. Agility. Jing Wei dashes straight forward. She may use this ability while mid-air for a longer dash and a 5 seconds immunity to basic attack movement penalties. Cooldown down to 12 seconds from 20 seconds. Okay, what does this mean? If she gets knocked up by anything, she can dash out. Sobek plug, Herbois knock up, Bacchus knock up, Sylvanus knock up, a Willish knock up, you name it. All of that works. All of that works. And the range that she gets is pretty fucking decent. Excuse my swearing, but it's pretty fucking decent. And then she gets basic attack, movement, penalty, removal for 5 seconds. This is what Sol gets in a 3. This is a free Fatalis. This is what Kronos gets in his 2. This is what makes Kronos so scary, because he doesn't really need anything else like in that regard in order to keep up with the enemy while throwing out his autos and missing some. This is what makes Freya scary in theory, because she has Fatalis all the time. She can just, follow you up. Medusa often builds it. She doesn't need that. She's getting that for free as well. So she has 2 steroids and movement speed penalty removal at the same time. If she chases you down, she'll knock you back. She'll just shoot you in the face with the 2 up, just for the extra crit chance, and then dash in front of you and just keep shooting you without the movement speed penalty. It's crazy. And we haven't even got her ultimate yet. Airstrike. Jing Wei channels briefly before taking to the sky. She then flies forward and upward while covering the area below her in explosions that damage. Up to 500 damage and up to 100% scaling all enemies in the area. After attack, she hovers for up to 2 seconds before landing at the ground location. 90 seconds cooldown. Okay. This actually, it seems not even that terrible compared to the rest of the kit. It gives her CC immunity, pretty sure. She cannot be pulled out of that. She cannot be interrupted in any way, so she can basically escape out of every bad situation ever with this. And she deals massive damage while doing so, and then she just casually lands somewhere. So just combine the whole kit, and then ask yourself how you're ever gonna get away from her. If a good Jing Wei player manages to hit you right, they will knock you up. They will then follow you with a steroid from the knock-up if they walk through it, with another steroid on the 2, with the movement speed penalty being removed because they can dash after you, so they're gonna land a ton of shots on you, all while having higher crit chance than others, and all while having high scalings, which work very well with crit items, because crit items in general have very high damage as well, especially Malice and Deathbringer. And then, if you're still alive and you somehow get out, she calls in an airstrike and goes boom, 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 and takes you down with another 500 damage and 100% scaling. The only counter to this god that really exists at this point is a Willish, because she has to knock herself up for many things. A Willish pulls her down, she cannot get out of the pull. I love this god, I love the design, I love the abilities, but she's freaking crazy. And I don't know, maybe if the numbers were lower, then she would like somehow be manageable, but I don't know how we're gonna deal with this. I think we may probably very well be dealing with at least one of the top 3 strongest releases we've seen, if not the strongest. So, have fun on Tuesday. Right, moving on. Godskins. Pandemonium Odin. Hilarious skin, bamboo animations in his ultimate with growing grass in the circle and stuff. It's really, really cool. I freaking love it. Love the voice lines. Slight nod to World of Warcraft here, I suppose. Really, really cool. We have the Grim Horseman Guan Yu. I like it. It's pretty dark. It's pretty cool. Has a metal horse as well. We have the Grim Wraith Hades. Also pretty cool. Pretty cool, like, digitalized animations. We have World Underneath. I actually missed the first part of the patch notes, so I haven't seen this. I don't know. It doesn't look too great here, in my opinion, but we'll see in game. I guess it's a tier 2, I suppose, and yeah, whatever. Then we have a Rakshasa Vamana. This, on the other hand, looks pretty cool. I think it's also a tier 2, judging from what I can see here. Like I said, I haven't seen the beginning, but I really like the mask. I like the style. Problems, I'm probably still going to play a little mana just because of the what? And we have the recolor, reborn Jing Wei. Then we have the voice packs, and now, baby, we get something for a Willish. We got updated Master skins, and I actually haven't seen them, as sad as this sounds, but I haven't seen them, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be goddamn amazing, so I'm really looking forward to playing those. This looks really cool. This is a gold skin, pretty sure, because it's not black, it's blue, and it even looks cool in the blue. We'll see if Suko is still completely gold and blue. I don't know about it. We'll see. I'll be surprised when I log on PTS, but this is pretty sick. We have the whole event around the Escape from the Underworld. Well, new visuals for Arena Mode and a bonus round. The bonus round is sick. It's amazing. At the end of the match, players will be sent to the center of the map and surrounded by lava, where they will fight until only one remains. The winning team of the bonus round will gain additional worshippers. You don't have to win the arena fight. It's like independent of each other. You get some bonus points. You get something for the whole event. Some extra points if you win 10 of those. It looks really fun. Like Throwback and Fenrir are gonna do their stuff. Pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I wish it would actually be like just a fun mode for in between. Something you could play in queues while you wait for someone or some stuff. Event queues. During the Underworld event, players will receive quests that will guide them in their escape from the Underworld. These quests will provide rewards like the trapped icon and from the Nether's music theme. I'm not going to go into all the details. There is the Nox skin as well. There is an Arachne skin as well. There is a Hoyi skin as well. And it's not like quite covered how it's going to work yet. But yeah, you get the idea. And then, some fixes, minor fixes, achievements for Anna, achievements for Nemesis, achievements for Vulcan, and I'm not gonna list all those, doesn't really matter. I had to check what spell on Kusari even was. I have never used it, but I have used the tier 3. And here we get some changes that are actually quite interesting. So, Genji's Guard no longer provides provides crowd control reduction. Instead, it provides cooldown reduction, 10%. Not that much. But, new passive, when you take magical damage from abilities, your cooldowns are reduced by 2 seconds. This can only occur once every 30 seconds. This will not trigger if there are no skills on cooldown. This may or may not be that great depending on your guard. If your guard generally has long cooldowns, then obviously 2 seconds are not going to matter that much, and cooldown reduction will not be as significant. On other guards, it's going to be insanely scary. I have a feeling that especially Fenrir and Ulish are going to benefit from this, because Fenrir was scary when beats still reset cooldown, because he could do a full double ability rotation on Fenrir with beats. And Willish will be scary because she can use Feather Step a lot more often, twice in a fight. So, cool change. I like it. I think it's going to get picked up more. It's still situational, but it might actually have a place next to Breastplate. However, it's still a bit more niche because it's magical damage, and you usually don't have that much magical damage. Then, Only Hunter's Garb now regenerates every 10 seconds in or out of combat. Very good. Otherwise, like before, it was just out of combat. Now it's all the time. Good. Spectral Armor. This one is a completely new mechanic, which is really interesting. New passive. When you activate a relic, you gain Ghost Walking for 4 seconds. And you can move through enemy players and enemy deployables. Now, what does this mean? You can basically use this if you're getting body blocked. You can use this to get through every kind of wall, including Odin wall. You have to use a relic, I was about to say an active, to get out of him. You get this Ghost Walk. Ghost Walk is something we have seen on Osiris so far. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. However, not all gods are created equal. Rest in peace, Khepri. I'm not even going to say more about it. You get the idea. This item ruins Khepri, and he did not get a compensation. While I see that Thor's wall is the most stupid thing in the game, because he doesn't need it, and Odin's wall is the most annoying thing in the game, and it is gonna get a nerf, we get into that, I don't see why Khepri wall needed a nerf. You can already destroy it, and now it's like, it should be excluded from this, actually, in my opinion. Okay. Moving on. Emerald Talisman and Stone of Gaia has seen a small price reduce. Cool. Because it makes it more likely to pick them up earlier, but they're still relatively weak as far as I recall. I have not compared the stats if they might be like worth it more now, but I don't think they will be. Realistically, Bulwark is still your better option in most cases because it just saves you better. It saves you against burst. Stone is just against consistent damage. Soul Stone. Bam. Increased magical power at 5 stones from 30 to 60. Double the damage on the ability. So we're going to see this a lot more. It's going to give a lot of early aggression. You still have some sustain if you get some autos out, and then boom, you clear the wave. You won't have the sustain after if you clear the wave completely, but this really helps like gods that struggle with early clear, Scylla, and stuff like that. Or you can make Isis the hyper aggression god of hyper aggression. If you go this plus red pod and you attack someone with the 5 stacks up, which she can stack faster because her third hit can hit 3 targets, then good night, sweet prince, and rest well. At the same time, somebody who plays with this is really easy to catch out of, like, if they take one step too far, they're dead because they don't get the health that Vamp Shroud has. Shifter Shield, price reduction from 2,700 to 2,400. Really good. I was just recently thinking about this. Shifter's Shield is not as bad of an item, really, but at this point, like at the point where you would get Shifters in most situations, when you have the pen and everything to use it, you're better off getting Crit. And Crit is not that much more expensive. With Shifters getting cheaper, Shifters might be a viable choice. God changes. Agni. Agni gets a slight buff, which is his attack speed being increased from 0.86 to 1, the base attack speed, and then percentage per level decreased a little bit. I think that's completely fair. Agni has always been considered the pinnacle of balance. Lately, he hasn't been it. There's been other gods in mid-tier, and Agni is falling off a little bit. I don't think that the attack speed change is going to change much about it, but it gives him this ever so slight edge in terms of clearing that he doesn't have otherwise. If he ever can't dash through the wave, that really might help him a little bit, and especially in combination with the buffed Soulstone. Yeah, I like that. I like this subtle touch to a god that's not yet in a low division or anything before they even get there. I wish we would see that with more gods. Apollo, I'm gonna read this because it's ridiculous. Apollo is legit what Serket was last patch, and Serket is top tier now. Now we're looking at Apollo. Apollo is a character who excels at boxing as well as being a constant presence for the enemy team. While effective, he often found himself lacking the extra kick needed due to his high mana costs, especially while ulting. Now, when he chooses to use his ultimate, he's no longer likely to land and be a threat versus landing and being near out of mana. Additionally, So Beautiful is also seeing a reduction in mana cost as well as a lower cooldown to early assist in his ability to clear early what? Yeah, there's many earlys in those sentences. If he chooses to spend the mana, I should add another early, but whatever. The person who wrote that description was probably just as stoned as the person who thought that this was a good buff. So Beautiful, reduced mana cost from 110 to 90 at all ranks. Reduced cooldown from 15 down to 11 to 11 at all ranks. Across the Sky, decreased mana cost from 10 plus 60 mana per second to 10 plus 40 mana per second. Okay. Honest opinion, you're an idiot if you fly to your lane from base as Apollo. Apparently that's the thing that Jing Wei can do now, but that doesn't mean you should do it as Apollo. You're wasting more than half your mana most of the time, and you still shouldn't do it now. You should use it for utility and not to get to your lane unless your tower is being heavily pressured. Other than that, Apollo got an insane buff with the throwing dagger buff. You need to stir it up and he clears. He has more than enough clear. As of now, he doesn't even need So Beautiful to clear because he clears with his auto attacks with the steroid. With the So Beautiful buff, he can poke so much. And Apollo is annoying enough. I'm saying this as a jungle main, obviously, so I'm slightly biased here. But the guy has a mess that triggers faster than Kumbhakana's mess. If you start them at the same time, Kumbha gets messed, Apollo doesn't, because Apollo's mess is so fast. There are two abilities in the game that are ridiculously fast. A, Apollo's mess. B, Tyr's cleave. You cannot, there's no wind up on these abilities compared to others. That's why Apollo is so good against Tyr, by the way, because he's one of the few who can CC him out of his CC. And that guy also has an escape. He has a dash to get away. On top of that, he has an ultimate to get away. If he's he has the slightest bit of time to get up in the air, he's gonna do it. And now, the only ability on him that wasn't very strong gets a buff. And one of the abilities that is already very strong gets a buff. And his clear recently got a buff. So what does that make Apollo? It makes him fucking good because he's a nuisance, especially in ranked, where he can split push so easily. And he's gonna do it so much, and he's gonna do it all the time. It's gonna be annoying as hell. I'm gonna see Apollo bans in my games, I'm pretty sure. So why? Just why? Why? Apollo is the big why of this patch. No logic behind it. And ironically, like right after I tweeted, Incon wrote the same thing on Twitter. So I'm definitely not alone with this opinion. Bakasura. Baka is hungry and the mid-harpies and boars are on the menu. With this adjustment, he should see a strong uptick in his ability to control the jungle and secure camps when needed. Eat minion, Bakasura can now consume any non-buff jungle creature at 100% of its health, including mid-harpies and boars. It's pretty sick. It's pretty damn sick. Because this means Baka jungle is a thing. How are you going to contest mids against a Baka jungle? How are you going to do it? He's just going to eat one of those. He's going to be like, yeah, you get the other one. The only thing he can't like take that easy is buffs still. But that's about it. He has insanely strong clear. He is fast after the clear. And what I'm telling you right now is Baka has a problem. And you need to realize this problem if you want to play Bakasura. And that is slows are all he has. He has no real CC. With the new item you can get out of his ultimate as well. So you are reliant on the slows to deal your damage. Built into utility. Baka is an excellent bruiser. People underrate his ability to bruise a lot. 1v1 Joust actually sells this, where you build him with 2 offensive items and then just go straight into defense. Don't build what you thought would make sense, namely crit and stuff, like crit plus kins. Do what many people won't do yet. Build some defense. Build defense that works for aggression as well. What I tend to build on him a lot is Stone Cutting Sword. Stone Cutting Sword is an excellent item for him. You can build Frostbone Hammer for some extra tankiness. So maybe opt out of the Fatalis, go into Frostbone Hammer. Merle actually said this on Twitter, by the way. This is not just coming from me. There are other items that definitely fill the niche between defensive and offensive. And that's where you want to place him ideally. Just to have the ability to frontline for your team a little bit. Throw out some minions, body block some shots, block some shots with the minions. Reinvent the role of Bakasura, make him a scary jungler and not the I will try to gank you with my whole kit, I throw everything at you and you just walk out with sprint. If you can force 3 sprints on the enemy team, you're good. And if you can force out one of them with Frostbound only, you done it. Bakasura jungle can work very well now. Very, very well if you choose the right items, if you choose the right path. He has gotten a lot of buffs in the past that made him stronger. So overall, he's in a very good place in terms of jungle. His solo is still bad, but we see him back in the jungle. I'm very happy with that. I'm really glad this change happened. This is going to have a major impact. I cannot stress this enough because his early clear is going to be ridiculous. It's really nice. It's really good. It's really good to see Baka changed. Jungle. Jungle is seeing a base damage and healing increase to Moonflower Dance. These 2 changes should allow her to provide more pressure in the early laning phase, where we see her struggle the most. Obviously, healing increased by 10, damage increased by up to 15. But this affects the early ranks already, so that's the good thing about it. Is it going to affect her so much? I don't know. I don't play Chang'e much, but usually I don't level the Moonflower Dance first, because it's not the best part of your clear, I feel like. I may be wrong here. Chang'e mains correct me. And therefore, it's still going to take some time until this actually has a major impact on you. But it's still a start. It's still a start. I slow, like baby steps. Getting her slightly higher, see how she's doing there, and maybe buff her again if that's not enough. Then again, I don't want to see like Chang'es ever in my games. Who want to complain? Yeah, little glitch fix for Charon. Hel. When looking at Hel, we want to focus on the utility instead of adjusting her raw damage or healing potential. Specifically, Cleanse was difficult to use properly at low ranks and left players guessing as to when their immunity would take effect. By making this a flat value, Hel players will now have more consistent tools to defend themselves as well as save allies earlier. Hinder. Slow is increased by 5% across all ranks. Cool. Well, a little more setup for the abilities. Cleanse, a little better, as it now is 1.25 seconds at all ranks, nearly max ranks cleanse. Good. You're not going to cleanse that much early, really, but it's good. It's good. Once again, like I said, baby steps. Hel is not going to be top tier all of a sudden. It's going to make her better. She's still going to struggle in the early. She's going to be better again late game. Not much. 5% slow, and she loses a little bit of cleanse, but it's easier to use as well. Odin, seeing nerfs, along with the armor nerf, like with a new passive. We also got Ring of Spears, increased cooldown from 67 to 75 seconds. I don't think I need to explain to anyone why this is happening. Good. Scylla. Scylla gets a little bit of a buff. Sikkim, scaling from 6% to 75%. Yeah. Like, Sikkim is not the ability that ruins you. There are I'm a Monster and Crush for that. So I see a little bit of damage being nice on that. Scaling doesn't really do much early. Her early is still going to be relatively weak. Crush sees the buff that only affects the later stages of it. An extra 20 damage on the highest rank. Also not too much. 20 damage. You know, Scylla was not top tier. She was good with do more sometimes, but a little overrated for a while, I think. Not that bad. Sol, Stellar Burst. Little fix. Yeah. Sylvanas, Nature's Grasp. Reduce cooldown from 26 at first rank to 22 at first rank, and then still going down to 18. And mana cost reduced. So the pull is going to be a bit more relevant. Is Sylvanas going to be more relevant? Probably not. Sylvanas still gets countered too hard by like gods like Odin. Still has the... Well, maybe he can get out the cage now. Maybe the Ghost Walk will actually help Sylvanas more than else because he doesn't have a natural escape and he can just walk away. But generally, you can still slow down a Sylvanas pretty effectively and block him in and take him out if he's ever behind. If you're ahead, obviously not. Then he's going to be a nuisance. But if Sylvanas falls behind, he's a problem god. Same as the Cabrakan. Gods like those. Once again, what surprises me is that some other higher tier, lower tier gods don't get touched. Thinking of Vamana here. Honestly, I do think Vamana is still very, very strong. I don't mind him not getting nerfed because I'm playing him a lot, but I'm surprised he doesn't get nerfed. Kali, Ao Kuang, Kronos even. Kronos is very good, but maybe not in the highest divisions, but maybe good, very good in many divisions in terms of push, split pushing and damage. Well, he's getting played in the SPL, what I'm even saying. So, and quite a few more. I'm surprised they decide to like keep it on such a limited number of gods as always. But I like the changes mostly, except for the stupid as a poll change. And Jing Wei is simply vastly overpowered. Sadly, what can you do? It's just what it is. Maybe she'll see a nerf soon. Probably. Very likely. Hopefully. I bet. You get the idea. Very happy about the Willish skins as well. Just wanted to say that again. Jungle. Another word on jungle. Jungle is getting a change within 3.7 or 3.8. This has been confirmed. Reta's change still out in the open when it will happen. But jungle is getting a change. You know, I've been demanding that. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you're looking forward to it. I expect something that allows the jungler to be less dependent on mid lane, because sharing camps is not fun anymore if you have to do it all the time and you're a secondary mid laner, as adapting called it the mid lane support. So, see about that soon. With that, long patch notes. Thank you guys for watching. Duke Sloth, out. Oh, that didn't stop. Let's stop right here.